in central Florida, with a lot of yearlings frolicking in the paddocks. But on just 60 acres of land in Davie, quite close to all 3 South Florida tracks, Ralph and Betty Sessa's Circle S Farm provides a complete R&R program and a lot of tender loving care for racehorses. The determining factor behind the Circle S Farm was not the fact that Betty's dad was a horse trainer. Rather, it was some initial good luck with a few horses they bought to race.
Fortunately, the first couple years we had horses, we ended up with some good horses, and you know what happens then.
The Sessas leave the business of running Circle S to farm manager Frank Beatty, who treats each horse on the grounds as if it were his own.
We're more or less a trainer's trainer. We have trainers at the racetrack. Today, stalls are at a premium. The racing is big business, the same as every other business is now. There's a lot more money involved. When I ran horses, if we made a few dollars, it was all right, and if we didn't, why, we didn't lose much. But every time we spend $5,000, a man today is spending $35,000, so you have to produce quicker. And therefore, the stalls are at a premium at the racetrack. So they have to get their horses as close to being ready to run on the farm. Then they take them to the racetrack and put your finishing touches on them. We don't win any races here. We just put the basic groundwork into them. Then they go to the racetrack. They have to get their babies okayed out of the gate. We have gate experience here, but they have to officially be okayed out of the gate to start. And the same way with horses. We get horses here that have screws in their leg. We get all of the road work into them. We get 1 or 2 breezes, which we are holding the horse together to get an easy breeze into him. Then he leaves here and goes to the racetrack. Then they put the pressure on him. So that we really have the easiest job. It's just a case of get him as good as we can and call me and tell me he's ready.
Swimming has become one of the most popular forms of therapy for racehorses. At the Sessa Farm, horses are led into a specially designed pool which enables them to change leads underwater. The horses begin with 2 laps and over a 30-day period work up to 8 laps, the equivalent of running 2 miles, only without the stress and body weight to the legs and feet. Stamina and breathing are also improved through swimming.
Well, the hot tub is where you want to create some circulation. Our hot tubs are either hot or cold. And the doctors, again, are boss. We're just following orders. Sometimes they want them in, they want to slow up the blood, so they use cold. And if they want to take soreness out, the hot tub has Epsom salts and betadine solution in it, which relieves the soreness in a horse. A lot of times they'll put a horse in there after surgery where they would like to give him a little exercise, but they can't really do it. But by doing this, we can circulate his blood and make him heal a lot quicker. Then he goes to the pool afterwards.
Circle S Farm has devised a plan to take care of all 120 horses on the grounds in an extremely practical way. They do it with an all-girl crew.
It seems to be the trend now. We have years ago when we had men living in the barn, the horses were their whole life, the barn was their home, and they were a little closer to it. And today, if you have a bunch of women working for you, they're easier on horses. We don't have The younger generation doesn't want to work 7 days a week, and horses are a 7-day-a-week job. The old folks are now sort of outdated in their methods, and times have really changed. And with the girls, they give a horse a bath, and if he has a scratch on him or a bump on him, you know it right away. They bathe them like they're a baby. They're a little gentler with horses, and I found they're easy to get along with. Usually what we do, we take 6 horses out to the racetrack, and the girls are always anxious to get done. So the girls, while they're waiting for us, usually swim 2 horses. So it gets us 8 horses get out in one set. So if I really get 5 sets of horses out, I've got 40 horses out. That's why we can get so many horses out so quickly. They swim 2 horses while we're galloping. And then when we get done galloping horses, the exercise people jump in and help us, and we end up swimming the balance of the horses. So the more they swim in the morning while we're galloping, the sooner we're all going to get done.
Much more than freshening up horses goes on at Circle S. They also have one of the finest operating rooms available for horses requiring major surgery.
Well, Dr. Teglin and his associates are the main people who are using the surgery room facilities, and they put a lot of screws in legs. We've been able to save some terrific brood mares and stallions and breeding prospects. But the horses, if we get a horse that has a little hairline fracture and they can put a screw in it and get it put back together again real quickly, an awful lot of those horses go back and run just as well as they did to start with.
While breeding is not the center of attention at this farm, the Sessas have done well with their favorite stallion.
We have one stallion here, and he was sort of a pet, but he turned out to be a nice pet. He's produced some real nice horses, and the breeding is something that Betty Sessa gets involved in very much so. When we're expecting a new foal, why she's up all night. The watchman goes down, and we have a video camera in the stall. And by the time the watchman calls us and said something's going on in the stall, why usually Betty's golf cart is down at the stall when we get there. So Betty is really involved in the breeding business, more so than I am. I do the breeding for them, but I just lead them in and out and take care of them and break the babies when they get here. But Betty is really our official in breeding.
Well, Assegai Jr. won approximately $150,000. He raced until he was 5 years old. He won the Sapling as a 2-year-old, and he won the Riggs Handicap. I can't really remember everything he did because I didn't have him then. My brother-in-law Johnny did. But now that we stand him on the farm, you know, I just know basically what he's done as a stallion.
A stay at Circle S, whether due to an injury or a much-needed rest, usually results in future trips to the winner's circle.
Most of the horses here are left here with the idea to treat them like your own, so we must be doing something right. But I've had a good association at the racetrack with a lot of trainers, and they know that I'm here, and they know that Ralph and Betty Sessa do things first class, and as you can see, nothing is left go just because it might cost a little more. If we make a little less and have the best, it's okay with Sessas.
Oh, well, we get just as big a thrill out of somebody else's horse that came here injured winning a race when they get back to the track as we do our own.